So, I'm curious. How do we know when an AI loses the A and just becomes I? It's Girl in Space. Oh man, so I'm sitting here roasting a new batch of coffee beans, looking out at Ra and enjoying his warmth, and my mind started wandering. And out of nowhere, I found myself thinking about my mother. I don't know why this keeps happening. I don't want to think about her. In fact, I'd actively prefer not to. Maybe it's the smell of the coffee? She was even more of a caffeine addict than I am, though she was so absent-minded she always burned the beans or brewed the grounds too long. Maybe it's the thought of all those little beans in their incubator, destined for grinding, brewing, and finally composting. Anyway, my stomach's all twisted up and my heart rate's all jumpy, so I thought maybe I should talk it out real quick. It helps. So, I was thinking about when I was little, back when Ra was still super tiny, and we were trying to figure out how to keep him stable. Mom sent me to the cryo tanks for a new embryo, and I remember opening the drawer and hearing the swift hiss of the pressurized hydraulics, the sparkling clink of those little glass vials. I hated those sounds. But I think that was because I associated them with seeing all of those embryos, shelved together like a weird little library of genetics, a repeating Dewey Decimal, the other little me's in there. Or what was left of them. Left of us? I don't know. It's hard to describe. I hated seeing myself in them, if that makes sense, knowing that at one point I had been one of them. My little undeveloped brain and body frozen, unmoving, unthinking, unfeeling. I had been the exact same thing, down to the chromosome. Well, maybe not exactly. There were biologically male and biologically female specimens. But staring at them, feeling a oneness with each and every one of them, I hated it. I hated thinking that I had a chance and they didn't. That I had been chosen to live and develop and that they hadn't. Even more than that, I hated that I felt relieved, that I felt lucky, that I felt superior somehow, and I knew that it was completely and utterly undeserved. I hated all of that. But I didn't hate her. Not then. I remember staring into that drawer, simultaneously realizing and yet disbelieving that once I had rested there amidst my tiny siblings, I had been that small, that cold, that unaware. I had no idea why my mother had selected me out of the lot, but maybe it didn't matter. Maybe there was no me. Maybe we were all me. Maybe we all still are. I chose specimen S at random. Or, maybe it was serendipity or fate or any number of those weird mystical forces I don't believe in. I could feel a hint of the vial's iciness as I lifted it out, a distinctly bitter and empty ache. Even through the special gloves that were way too big for my hands as a child, and I carried it to my mother. She took the vial without comment, and I set the gloves in their place, and then I summoned up all of my courage in one breath and asked, "Why did you choose me?" Oh, shoot. I burned the coffee. Just a sec. Hey, Chance. Good. I was worried that...
Sorry, guys. Wait!
Kai! Chance, wait.
Don't worry. It's set for stun.
Ugh.
You can't hide in there forever, X.
Yeah, well, good thing I don't plan to. Though even you'd have to admit, it's a pretty good short-term strategy. You want me? You come in here and get me.
With the air full of carbon monoxide? Nice try.
Carbon monoxide? Yay. Thank you for rescuing me.
I'm here to help, ma'am. Are you okay?
Yes, although speaking of carbon monoxide, I'm a little worried that Dr. Keene and Dr. Nakamura might not be. Could you please have the folks in charge start venting out the infirmary?
Oh yeah, good call. Officer Chance here. Can we put a kibosh on the deadly gas and start venting out the infirmary?
Are you having difficulty subduing the traitors, Officer Chance?
No, sir. Ex-officers Chen and Kai are down for the count, and the specimen X is cornered. I've also secured the safe return of the hostage, who is concerned about the health of 2 Caldwell Enterprises employees inside of the infirmary.
If they're not dead already.
I suppose.
Thanks, Chance. I like Dr. Keene. And I'd probably like Dr. Nakamura, too.
That's debatable. We're talking major halitosis.
Not that me liking them makes them worth saving.
Everyone is worth saving. That's why the work Caldwell Enterprises is doing is so important, X. I don't get why you don't see that.
Chance, Caldwell Enterprises isn't trying to save me. In fact, they are actively trying to kill me right now.
Hey, I told you I'm set for stun.
I don't care. I don't want to be stunned. I don't want to go back to being locked up or strapped to a gurney or even made to run radiation tests with a gun pointed at my back.
Well, we can't always get what we want, and sometimes we need to sacrifice what we want for the greater good.
Ugh, what does that even mean?
Status update, Officer Chance.
Gas seems to be vented. Stand by, sir.
Ugh. It's nice to be able to breathe without that oxygen mask.
X, why don't you come out and we'll finish our conversation face to face?
Oh, Does finishing our conversation entail you stunning me and dragging me away to be imprisoned and court-martialed or whatever? Because no thanks. In fact, I've got a counteroffer. How about I come out and you join the mutiny and we go back to being friends like none of this ever happened?
You're being selfish.
You know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I've devoted my entire life to serving the Kavatica and my parents and Ra, and maybe right now I want something that's different from what you and Caldwell Enterprises want. And maybe that's okay. I mean, why does what Caldwell Enterprises wants supersede what I want? Doesn't that mean we're both being selfish?
Caldwell Enterprises owns you, X. Just accept that and get out here.
I never gave them permission to own me.
They don't need permission to own you. They just do.
Okay, so really what you're saying is everyone is worth saving, except whoever's in the way when it suits whatever mysterious greater good Caldwell Enterprises happens to want?
Humanity is worth saving, X.
I'm human.
What do you want me to say, X? They own me too. They own the Kvetica, Kai, Thor, and Chen. They own everything.
They don't own me.
Officer Chance, I'm sending my personal assistant to help you. He dispatched Chen earlier and will be able to assist you in the collection of bodies and the subdual of any additional
now or never.
mutineers.
Ow!
What was that?
Hey, X, get back here. There's nowhere for you to...
Oh my gosh. Danny, thank you.
I really hope it was set for stun.
It probably was. Also, where'd you get a gun?
I grabbed it from Kai's belt while you and Chance were arguing. I thought it might be a little more effective than hitting him with an IV stand.
Smart. Huh. Want to help me pile Kai on top of Chen's gurney? I'll take them both back to the Kvetica and see what I can do to patch them up.
Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Huh?
Do you want Chance, too?
I don't know. No, I think he's exactly where he wants to be.
Officer Chance.
All right, I'm heading back to the Kvetica. If anyone asks, I was the one who stunned Chance, not you. You're just an innocent hostage trying to get away from me because I'm all evil or whatever, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Officer Chance,
Unless
do
you want to come with me?
I worked way too hard to get this grant.
Fair enough. How do I get back to the Kvetica?
That way, then take a right, then hit 0 in the elevator.
0. Strangely appropriate. Thanks.
Officer Chance, respond immediately.
Oh, and Danny, if you ever do want to join us on the Kvetica, I'd love to work with you.
Thanks.
Officer Chance, report.
Hi, this is Intern Wise. The specimen stunned Officer Chance and got away. Can I do anything to help you in the meantime?
Clever girl. Okay, just got off the elevator and am heading toward the Bay Area to the remote connector. Should be just around the... Geez, okay. That's a lot farther than I thought. But I can see Thor from here. At least, I think it's Thor. I don't know. Everyone kind of looks alike in those gray suits. Worst comes to worst, I'll bull rush him with the momentum from the gurney. Approaching now. Wish me luck, Dad. Huh, good. It is Thor. But there's some kind of weird rubble all around her feet.
Experiment girl, hey. Jeez, what happened?
Well, the good news is we found Chen. The bad news is he's super hurt.
Holy crap.
And Chance found us. And Kai's down. And the counselor might be sending some kind of assistant to murder us? That's a lot of bad news, come to think of it. We should probably do some good stuff to balance it out.
What did they do to Chen?
Oh, don't worry. He's okay. For now. That assistant guy took a big chunk out of his side, but I think he's stable at least. What happened here? What are these little metal things all over the floor?
AI defense drones. The counselor must have finally figured out how to activate them. Or more likely, Chance told him.
Aw, they're kind of cute.
Yeah, well, resist the urge to hug them if you see them coming your way. They're smart, nimble, and their ammo packs a nasty sting.
Well, you took them out easily enough. There's like 50 of them here.
Well, I am good at my job. You are not good at my job. You see them coming, you run.
Wait, you're not coming with us?
I hate to break it to you, Experiment Girl, but there's a lot going on here. A lot more than you know. Though, I do owe you one for starting this mutiny. Couldn't have gone better if I'd engineered it myself. You know, I might even like you if you weren't such an annoyingly wide-eyed, bushy-tailed moonchild.
I don't know what any of that means.
It means that if you run into anyone wearing a gold uniform, you tell them the lion's paw greets you, and then get the heck out of their way. Got it?
I guess. But, why would I be running into anyone in a gold uniform? Everyone I've seen with Caldwell Enterprises wears gray.
Exactly. Let's just say there's more than one reason the counselor's been freaking out lately.
You did something.
Oh, I did a whole lot of somethings. But don't worry about that right now. You just get back to the Kavatica and take good care of Captain Chen and Killbot for me, okay?
You smashed up the Kavatica's communications pod.
And you are not listening to me. Now is not the time for startling revelations. Now's the time for you to get moving. Got it? Go!
Okay. But when we inevitably meet up again later, I'm gonna want some answers.
Fine, whatever. Just go!
Yay, good. Okay. All right. Pushing the gurney down the remote connector toward the Kavatica. You'd think the wheels would make this easier, but these two weigh a ton. Well, not a literal ton, unless Kai's suit is made of an unusually stable isotope of fluorovium. No one's ever around to hear my awesome science jokes. Huh. I wonder if they turned up the gravity in the remote connector to slow me down. Also, this IV stand is super awkward. Maybe it would help if I set my recorder down on Chen's chest plate and... Oh yeah, that's a lot better. So, looks like Thor's been up to some kind of espionage. What's her endgame? Oh my gosh, is she the bad guy? Is she our Dennis Nedry? I don't know. If she were after the remaining embryos, she could have taken them like 1,000,000 times already. They're just right there in the glasshouse cryo tanks, very clearly labeled as per lab regulations. So, if she doesn't want to steal the embryos, which, according to the counselor, already belonged to Caldwell Enterprises, thus negating the need to steal them, then I guess she just wants to cause a lot of damage for some reason? Bleh. My brain is fried. Assuming the clock is switched over to day 10 Mark 319, I haven't slept in more than... Whoa. Have I not slept since Thor found my mother's body? So, yeah, going on a full 24 hours. That's probably not very healthy.
X?
Aw. Speaking of not very healthy, how are you doing?
X, I can't move my legs.
Oh, don't worry. You're not paralyzed or anything. Kai's just on top of them. I made a super hilarious joke earlier about an isotope of fluorovium, but I'm not sure you would have gotten it.
Wait, where are we?
A remote connector, heading back to the Kavatica. Remember you were in prison for some mysterious reason, all critically wounded, and Kai and Danny and I rescued you?
Danny? The intern?
Yes. Why do people keep sounding surprised that the intern is a smart, capable, and fully functional human being? She's back on the Enforcer 1, acting as our mole right now. Oh, and speaking of moles, Thor's been acting...
Shh. Wait. What's that?
Must be the second wave of AI drones? Thor took out a whole bunch of them earlier, but for some reason, she didn't think that I'd be able to...
X. Thor had a disruptor. We can't take them without a disruptor. Heck, I can't even sit up. Go. Run. Now.
I can't get this stupid gurney to go any faster.
Without me.
I'm not going without you, dummy. Can you reach one of Kai's guns?
Maybe
Okay, we're here. We're gonna be... what the heck? Come on.
Is it locked?
No, it can't lock. Remember, you guys busted through the lock when you first boarded?
Well, I got one of Kai's guns now. For whatever good it'll do. This thing's like a cannon.
Greetings.
Aw, they really are super cute. So small.
Please surrender or die. Thank you.
Aw, and so polite.
And covered in razors and full of caustic acid. Keep trying that door.
Perpetrators resisting standard subroutines. Please stand by for neutralization via death. Thank you.
Oh, ow! That hurts.
I can't hit them. They're too small.
Ha! Got it. Ow!
X, get behind me and pull the gurney through the door after you.
No, you've already taken... Ow! Too much damage. It's my turn to play human shield. Ow!
Your
Ow!
compliance is appreciated.
Ow!
As your neutralization nears completion, please remember, at Caldwell Enterprises, we invent the future.
Okay, it's shut, technically, but I can't latch it. The door's heating up from all that fire. Oh, well that's weird.
What?
Well, there's some kind of pale pink crystalline substance growing all around the doorframe. I think that's what was sealing it shut. I've never seen anything like it before.
Survival now. Science later.
Right. Charge up your gun again.
X, those drones are too small and quick to hit. Not to mention shielded against any...
I know, but the wall of the remote connector's not. Shoot that, and they'll get sucked out into the vacuum.
Got it. Go.
Nice. And it should deter Caldwell Enterprises from coming after us for a while. You okay?
All things considered, yeah. You?
Yeah. Wow, you were right. That acid really stings.
You did good, X.
Thanks. Hey, I'm sorry I called you a dummy earlier. I didn't mean it. I was all caught up in the moment, and I'm a little short on sleep.
It's okay. Believe it or not, I've been called worse.
Good. Well, I mean not good, because that would... My brain is like collapsing in on itself from lack of sleep. Just like...
Like my legs underneath Kai's weight?
Oh, gosh, right. Let's get you to the glass house. I've got sufficient medical supplies now to get us back into some semblance of quasi-health.
So, what happened to Kai?
Chance. He said the gun was set for stun, but I think maybe it hurt Kai worse than an actual killing blast would have. Do you know how to fix or bring back online or rejuvenate or whatever it's called for Kai?
No, but we'll figure it out.
Right. We'll figure it out. No problem. We'll just add it to the list of all the things we need to figure out.
X, look at me.
What?
We'll figure it out. One thing at a time. We're in this together, X. Got that? You're not alone anymore.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what I'm worried about.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but you can trust me. We're going to be okay.
Yeah, okay. We're going to be okay. Day 10 Mark 319, hour 0615. Okay. Maybe we are going to be okay. I went back to seal up the airlock door so that we don't lose all of our Atmo to the vacuum, but a new coat of those crystal things had grown up over it, so it was already taken care of. I scraped off a sample of the crystals for analysis, which I'll perform after I get a bit of sleep and return to my full cognitive functionality. Otherwise, we're back in the glass house now. And currently we consists of me and Chen and Kai. Status-wise, I rebandaged Chen's field dressings and dosed him with some antibiotics to fight off infection. He's currently asleep on the gurney, which I stationed near the waterfall. You know, back where all the orchids are, so he could have some privacy and a pretty view when he wakes up. The acid from the drones melted some new holes in his stupid, useless plastic armor, but I don't know. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think he's going to be okay. And I should note that by okay, I mean not dead. Best case scenario, we'll need to rig up a brace or something to compensate for all of his missing bone and muscle tissue. Maybe do some skin grafts. Worst case, he'll probably need to learn how to walk again, regain balance with how it all fits together. I ended up having to remove several large pieces of his armor and cut away parts of his shirt and leg wrappings to properly clean and treat his wounds. I mean, it went well and everything, but it was weird. It wasn't the blood. I mean, I get hurt all the time in the name of science, and I'm used to patching myself up. I used to do surgical stuff for my parents whenever the need arose. Mom was never as careful as she should have been in the engine pod and always needed stitches and burn treatments. And then there was the whole thing with Dad's arm. But this was different. I don't even really know how to talk about it. Touching another person's skin felt weird and intrusive and just super uncomfortable. Like I was way overstepping my bounds, even though I was helping him. I got it over with as quickly as I could. Anyway, I patched myself up after that. Those little drones did more damage than I initially thought. They got me pretty good several times across my back and shoulders, and the acid from that first hit burned through a substantial portion of my upper arm. There might be some skin grafts in my future, too. It hurts, but weirdly, I'm kind of more annoyed than anything else. I realize this is an illogical and inappropriate response to everything, but I'm tired and stressed, and those little jerks ruined my favorite shirt. It was already worn pretty thin already. Dad wore it pretty much every day, and then I proceeded to do exactly the same thing after he died. I was wearing that shirt the day Caldwell Enterprises boarded the Kavatica. I was wearing it when they captured me, and when I broke into my parents' pod to grab that data pad. It's pretty much the only thing that doesn't say property of Caldwell Enterprises on it somewhere. It's just a plain black t-shirt with a triangular prism on it and a rainbow radiating out. I sort of draped the remaining shreds of it over the placard by the maple tree, the one labeled Honorum Lutum Sanguine. It just felt like the right thing to do. Anyway, I went through my parents' remaining supplies for a new shirt, which I'm wearing now. Just a plain white tank that should allow my wounds to heal quickly and cleanly, so yay. I don't know. Maybe I should be more grateful that we're not worse off, all things considered, but I'm not. I'm tired. And I don't even necessarily mean like lack of sleep tired. Well, I mean, I'm that too, but this is deeper. Like, my heart is sad or exhausted or hurt or just plain weary, which, now that I say it out loud, I realize it sounds super melodramatic. But maybe that's okay, since it's true to what I feel, and no one is ever going to listen to these recordings because you're dead, and the Kavatica's steadily falling apart, and no one else is ever going to take this recorder from me again. At least not until they pry it from the grip of my cold, dead hands, at which point I figure literary criticism will be relatively low on my list of concerns. I can't get Kai to wake up. Or reboot, or regain functionality, or whatever it means for Kai to return to a fully conscious Kai-like state. I know that Chen said we'd figure it out together, but I got impatient. And now it just feels like another situation I have no idea how to navigate. Earlier, after Chen fell asleep, I started taking apart a panel on the back of Kai's neck, but just like with Chen, it felt weirdly invasive, so I stopped. I left Kai propped up against one of the lab tables, just leaning there like a mannequin, lifeless and staring. And all I can do is stare back and think about whether Kai is in there right now, a raw mass of nerves and tissue, awake and terrified, silently screaming in absolute darkness, unable to communicate or even process incoming information, completely alone. Or maybe completely dead. Charlotte's here too, or at least her chassis is. Right where she shorted out after telling me that the children are the key in my mother's voice. I don't know how to bring her back online either. Except with her, I'm a little less clueless, since at this point I think her power source is tied to, or simply is, my mother's body, which is locked up in one of the labs back on the Enforcer 1. I may or may not get the opportunity to retrieve it. I don't know. There are so many unknowns and so many ways this could play out. I tried mapping them out and realized that even with fractals, charting the infinite is a pretty futile gesture. Or maybe there's only one way this will play out. Maybe we're following a paved road toward inevitability. Maybe this mutiny and my constant fight is just as futile. Maybe it makes more sense to conserve my energy and just... Yeah, I know you're falling apart. I get it. Everything is terrible, time is limited, we're all doomed, whatever. But believe it or not, you're not my number one priority right now. That honor belongs to the stupid human beings who are dead and or dying in my care. So once they're out of danger, then I will get back to repairing you in the hopes of coaxing a few more livable days out of your miserable hull. Sorry. I don't usually lose my temper like that. I can't handle everything falling apart all at once. I can't do everything. It's kind of funny. Mom always hammered it into my head growing up that I could do anything if I put my mind to it. Clone mice, calibrate the station's engine, write music, harvest and roast my own coffee beans, French braid my own hair, weld the Kavatica back together, maybe all at once. But now, I'm starting to think she got anything confused with everything. Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to lie down and try to catch as much sleep as I can before the next inevitable emergency. Then, well, let's just leave the plan there for now. More later when my brain is rested. Hey, Ra. You're looking a lot better, at least. Yeah. I'm glad I'm back, too. Support for the Girl in Space podcast is made possible by listeners like you. You can help keep the show going, get sweet merch, and access bonus episodes for as little as $2 a month when you become a patron on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/girlinspace, all one word, to check out exclusive rewards for patrons and make your pledge. That's Patreon, patreon.com/girlinspace. For credits and a full transcription of this and other episodes of Girl in Space, please visit girlinspacepodcast.com. If you're interested in creative writing, be sure to check out my other show, Right Now. That's right, like WRITE, because puns. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to the Girl in Space podcast. It means so much.